Mama just killed a man. I'm sure put my gun against his head. Pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun. Now I've got and thrown it all away. Da, da, da. I didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, carry on.
This is the worst harmony I've ever heard in my life.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to show you my 1.5 Alpha Bridge build and why I think this is the meta and so strong. It's going to be a long video because some things have changed drastically since 1.4, but I'll go into that anyway and explain in great detail. So I'll kick things off. Obviously, I'll start with the beginning steps. If you're coming new to 1.5 and new to the game, if you're coming from 1.3, I'll just go through the really basic generic steps, and then I'll get into why I've gone for this set, why it's the strongest, and obviously talk around the gear pieces and what you need to go for on your gear pieces. Starting off, obviously you want to get your armor. Now this is for your mitigation on your character. So currently my character, if you look at survivability, my armor mitigation is 54%, well 53.99. So you can get this slightly higher. I've seen people get 56%. I'm currently sitting at 54, so it's not too bad. But the way you achieve this is you've got to put armor on your chest, armor on your backpack, armor on your knees, armor on your holster. But as well as this, you've got to equip mods. So what it is when you go into your chest piece, your major attribute, obviously you want to be rolling armor. So as you can see there, I've got armor. Go into my backpack, go down, my major attribute is armor. Go to my knee pads, my major attribute is armor. Go to my holster, major attribute is armor. But as I was saying, on top of this, you want to be adding mods. So I've got prototype mods here. I've got stamina on this one, which is giving me 271 armor in 2 slots. Go across to my mask. Again, I've got another stamina, which is 271 armor. And then go to my knees. I've got another one, which is again stamina, which is 271. Go across to my bag, and I've actually got a firearms one. This is to do with my weapon, but again, it's 277 armor. So that's where I'm getting this mitigation armor from. That's the basics. If you're coming into the game, that's what you need to go for. Now I'll talk about why Alpha Bridge and why it's the strongest, and obviously the reason for this is the talents in which this gear set gives you. So if you go into Alpha Bridge, you look at the set bonuses you get from Alpha Bridge. Your 2 set bonus gives you 100% health regen, which is really nice. I'll just show you an example of this. So if I was to throw a grenade, for instance, okay, that was a weird glitch. What the hell just happened then? If I just throw a grenade, for instance, I throw a punch, and then you'll see my heal come back straight away. This is really nice. Now, obviously, this is when I'm out of combat. When you're in combat, it takes slightly longer, but it's really nice to have. Going down to the third one, you've got the weapon damage, which is really nice. This would be even better for my build. I'll talk about it later, why it could be better, but it's really nice. It's a nice 5% bonus. And then obviously this is what you want with the Alpha Bridge, is the 4th set bonus. If your primary and secondary weapon is of the same category, they both gain all the unique talents. So that means if I'm stacking 2 assault rifles, like I am in this example, 2 sniper rifles, 2 LMGs, 2 SMGs, I'm going to get all the bonuses, all the talents from all the weapons, provided I've got the requirements of firearm, stamina, electronics. I'm going to unlock them talents and use them on one weapon. So this is why this gear set is so strong. So what I'll do is I'll go into the individual pieces and how I built this character to the figures that I've got, because I want to talk really about the health and what you should be aiming for in 1.5. So with the adjustments from 1.4 to 1.5, the biggest adjustment is the armor damage, which now you can do against other players, because previously in 1.4 it was PvE only. Now you've got armor destructive value, which you can do to players as well. I've noticed that if you get yourself over roughly 400 toughness, that's going to be your sweet spot where you can still output a lot of damage, but you can also have this survivability. Now, with this, obviously, because your armor is getting destroyed so quickly, the biggest thing is obviously having your health pool. Now, my health pool, for instance, if I go to my stamina increased health by 205,000. So that's my health pool. Then on top of that, I've got my armor. So this is where this survivability comes in, because for instance my build, I'm really focusing on your armor, and then I'm getting into your health pool. So you've got to have that strong health pool. If you solely rely on your armor, that's just going to get taken away straight away if you come against somebody like me. So going into my pieces, I've gone for on the chest piece, and I think this is as close as you're going to get to min-max in terms of mitigation against what could potentially happen in a PvP environment, but also min-max in terms of potential out of each gear set. So going to my chest piece, I've got armor, obviously is my major attribute. My second, I've gone for exotic damage resilience. Some people might tell you to go for health, but I've found that only 5,000 health when I can hit you for 20,000 is practically useless. This is going to keep you alive because obviously there's a lot more going on in the Dark Zone now with the sticky bombs are a new revision to the game. They've come back and obviously you can stack a lot more electronics. You've got stuff like seeker mines, which are really, really strong now. People can throw grenades and they're doing a lot of damage to you. So this exotic damage resilience is key to your survival in PvP. Then my miner, obviously I've got the ammo capacity, which is perfectly paired with Alpha Bridge because you're going to be burning through your ammo seeing as you're only using one weapon and it's coming out of the same pool. That's perfect. And then obviously I've got my mods. Going across my mask, again, exotic damage resilience. So I'm up to 20% exotic damage resilience just off these two pieces, which is the difference between me getting sticky bomb one shot, which now has slightly changed. They've rolled back the sticky bombs and the grenades. Sorry, not the grenades, not so much, but the sticky bombs. But what the thing that happens the most is if somebody's gone for a sticky bomb build, they'll often put chain reaction on. Now, chain reaction is a talent which procs with damage from an explosion. So the bigger the group, say if there's 4 of you, it's going to increase the damage. Now, me having 20% exotic damage resilience, and I've tested this with a fully maxed out electronics, like 300 plus skill power. I've been able to survive and still have a fraction of health left where I can actually heal myself, or I can hit my T ability and I can get my whole team back up, which is really good. So this is so critical. People might say roll crit damage, crit chance, or roll something else. I'm advising you go for the exotic damage resilience. It's gonna save you if you come against one of these players. My minor attribute, obviously I've got the enemy armor damage. This is what I was talking about before. This is the armor penetration which you can do to players. So you try and get this wherever you can now in 1.5 because this is obviously going to give you more damage. Go across to my holster, I've got the armor, and then go down to my minor attributes. Again, I've got the enemy armor damage, which is 11%. This again is going to stack on top of my damage. Then I've got the bleed resistance, and I've got the disrupt resistance. Going to my backpack, this is a specialized backpack. Now what specialized is it adds 200% of my firearms and my stamina to my skill power. So it takes it from this pool, adds 200% and chucks it onto my skill power. So my skill power would normally be about 70,000, 75,000. This is giving me enough to get my skill power up to 100,000, which again is going to be for 2 reasons. One is for your heal, because you want to be able to heal yourself pretty decently back to full health. But also say if you are using, if you're using any type of skill, which I do vary and I chuck things around, it's going to help out massively. So that's why I'm running the specialized backpack. Obviously I spoke about the armor, and then the minor is the ammo. This is key to Alpha Bridge. So I've got ammo on my chest and I've got it in my bag, and this is giving me the ammo pool, which is great for my weapon because I'm going to be burning through so much. Again, I got really lucky with this. It's got a really high firearms. The armor's not too good on this backpack, but it's still strong enough. Going for my gloves, I've got the Savage gloves because I'm going for crits, and I'll explain the weapons later. If you're on a console, you might not want to go for crit, you might want to go for headshot, but I'll go through that in a second. I've got the Savage gloves, which gives me a crit hit chance, which is increased by 7% against target side of cover. That's great. And then I've got the minor, which is the assault rifle damage, and then I've got crit hit chance, crit hit damage. So these are really nice. The only thing about these gloves is they're really low in armor. I'd love a pair that are 1,000 armor. That would get me up probably to 55%, maybe 56% armor. But yeah, it's not really killing the build, but this is, you know, I'm trying to get the min-max. Going across my holster, obviously the only thing you can roll in your holster is the armor, but you're trying to get these 3 in the 1200. I'm just slightly low on the electronics. Still, it's a really nice piece, nice armor on it. So yeah, I'm not going to give this up. Just going back, I've just remembered something. Just going back to my specialized backpack. When I was talking about my heals, for instance, this skill power 106,000, I'm actually using this talent overdose. And if you go down to 1 bar, and I've got roughly about 100,000 skill power at 445 toughness, I would use my heals and I'd only get my 3 bars back. The way I've achieved my overheal as well is all my performance mods are actually first aid self-heal. So on my bag I've actually got 2, which are 2 at 6%. Then I've got my holster, which again is 6%, and then I've got another one on my knee pads again, 6%. So this is giving me a huge increase in my heals, so I can actually heal back from 1 bar all the way up, but it also helps with the med kits. Now, I've done extensive testing between the specialized backpack and the refresh mask. The refresh mask is actually better. The only problem is I don't have the opportunity to roll out for a different bag. The bag I've got is nowhere near as good as the specialized bag I've got. I'm sorry, I'm talking about an Alpha Bridge bag, so I've opted for the specialized bag. So yeah, that's pretty much my gear. Now if I go through my character sheet, that'll explain why I've rolled my gear in such a manner. So obviously, if I go to, for instance, I just want to go show you the mitigation that I can show you. So my survivability, obviously, I've already spoke about my armor, which is 54%. But then I've got this exotic damage resilience, which is a 20%. This is obviously coming from my chest and coming from my mask. So that's pretty much key for all your survivability. So just briefly, toughness over 400,000, exotic damage resilience, try and get it up to 20%, which stops sticky bombs and grenades. And then obviously you want to get your armor across these 4, which is going to give you your armor mitigation. So that's the survivability. Now I'm going to go into the damage and why this set is just insane now, and how I think they've kind of scaled it a bit wrong. But I'll show you anyway. So if you just get into this now, if you look at my actual firearms, I've got 5,000 firearms now in 1.5, and I've got 6,800 stamina, which is insane. This firearms plus the armor penetration is just ridiculous for 1.5, but it's so much fun, and it just melts through anyone that comes near me. And if anyone tries facing me, I just take them down instantly. So let's get into the weapons. So the weapons, assault rifles, they come with enemy armor damage, 23% on the M4. Then you can actually use a talent on the assault rifles. We can use them on any weapon, which is destructive, which is the armor destructive value is increased by 15% when using this weapon. Straight away, I've got 28%. That's 28% before I've even my first bullet. Then I go back to my gear, and on my mask, obviously, I've got 9%. Then I go to my knee pads and I've got 11%. So if I go back to my character sheet now, you'll just see how ridiculous it is. And you can probably tell by the tone of my voice how ridiculous this is. So now if I actually go to my combat, enemy armor damage is at 58%. So increased damage done to enemy armor. As soon as I shoot your armor, I've got a 60% extra damage buff on top of that. I strip your armor for just instantly. So this is why you've got to have that huge health pool, and you've got to have them heals. So yeah, that's pretty much just ridiculous. And then obviously going back to the Alpha Bridge, you can unlock all the talents. So for my talents, I'm actually using Vicious, so crit hits. Oh, sorry, I'll go back to the M4. I'm using Responsive, which obviously gives me a damage increase of 10% when close than 10 meters. I'm often playing close than 10 meters with this build, so it pairs really nice. I've got the Swift, which is reloading 25% faster. The M4 generally rolls about 3 seconds, I think it is, possibly over 3 seconds. So having this equipped is huge. It just, I can burst, because I've gone more for a burst damage now. 1.5 seems to be a lot more bursty, so I can reload and I can take down player, reload, take down player, reload, take down player. So this is really nice. And obviously if I'm facing somebody else with the same build, me having that reload gets me back in the fight quicker than they can. Destructive, obviously I've talked about that, it's just insane. We'll not go over that again. Vicious, critical hit chance increased by 10% when having more than 2 health segments. A lot of people might change this. If you're on consoles, you probably will change this, but I'll talk about that in a second. So I've gone for Vicious. Unforgiving, which is missing health segments, is increased. So obviously if I miss 1 health segment, it's 10%, missing 2, it's 25. So if you're face tanking me, obviously you're already dealing with my responsive, you're dealing with my enemy armor damage of 60%, and then obviously I'm increasing my damage as I go down in health. Then this final talent, holy shit, what was they thinking? Uncomplicated. Now this comes on the FAMAS. Uncomplicated gives you 15% extra damage, and it's the only rule against this is accuracy and stability mods reduce this bonus. Now I don't know how hard it is on console with the M4s, but if you're on a PC and you can control the mouse, which is not that hard, it's insane. It's like holding a laser beam. Now this talent is just way too strong. A lot of people have been complaining about the MC gloves because they give you 16% damage, but the only way they can be effective is if you actually lose all your other talents from gear sets. Which is a huge, obviously, detriment to the actual bonus of 16%. But this talent alone, all you have to do is sacrifice your stability and accuracy mods, and then you get 15% extra damage. So if you just go into what I'm actually getting, I'm getting 15% here. If you're close than 10 meters, I'm 25%. If I start losing health, I'm 30%. If I go down to 1 bar, I've got so much damage coming out of this weapon. So it's just insane. So going back to this vicious talent, why have I rolled vicious on my FAMAS and why have I not gone for another talent? So on consoles, I would highly recommend going for ADS, which is this LVAOC. The reason I'd go for ADS is because you can't move around as much as a PC player, and a lot of people aim down sights anyway when they're on console, so you really want to go for the headshot damage. So if I show you my LVOC first, I've got a scope. Again, you've got to bear in mind, because you're going to be pairing this with a FAMAS, you can't have any accuracy or stability mods. Going to the scope, I've got headshot damage, crit hit chance. Going across to the muzzle, I've got headshot damage, crit hit chance. Going to the small grip, I've got crit hit damage, reload speed, optimal range. There's no accuracy, no stability. Going to my magazine size, crit hit damage, rate of fire. Now this is going to be perfect. I use this actually for PvE. The reason I use it for PvE is because I've got self-preserved on this weapon, which really nice. If I'm facing against a big boss, I'm constantly hitting crits, so I'm getting my heals back, so I can actually face tank a bit stronger. But again, it's the same rules. You want to be going for like destructive, responsive, and then obviously with your FAMAS, you'll get this uncomplicated talent. So if you pair this with your ADS, you're going to do a hell of a lot of damage. Now, as well, I've not actually spoke. The best weapon in the game now is actually the lightweight M4, LVAOC, or the police M4. So as you can see, I've got two of them. This one's my PvE, which I'd recommend highly for consoles because it's got a lot of headshot damage equipped to it. This is my PvP, which is for PC because I'm doing a lot more crit. So going to my lightweight M4 now. On my Pro Red Dot site, I've gone crit hit damage instead of the headshot damage. I've gone headshot damage, I've gone crit hit chance. On my muzzle, I've gone for crit hit damage, headshot damage, crit hit chance. On my small grip, I've gone crit hit damage, optimal range, reload speed, and then obviously my magazine, I've gone magazine size, crit hit chance, rate of fire. So this is pairing so well for me because I tend to do a few shots in the head and then I'll do a lot of strafing. I'll be hip firing. They say you shouldn't be hip firing in 1.5, but I'm telling you, you need to on PC. I'll do a hell of a lot of hip firing and I'm hitting a huge amount of crits. And then if I start aiming down the sights again, it just destroys and melts people. So as you can see, this is a really nice roll as well. I've got 19.1k damage on this. I've got an RPM of 850 standard. Obviously with stuff attached to this, I'm getting an extra bonus, so I'm up to like 900 RPM, which is really nice. Then my magazine is at 62. The LVOC is a bit weaker, 18.7, and obviously 900 again RPM. Some people would argue with you and say, yep, the FAMAS is obviously the best gun in the game because the RPM comes base at 900. You can add a mod to it, so at 950. But the damage obviously is so low on the FAMAS. They've rolled it back really, you know, because of that talent. They've had to roll it back. Obviously, it does pair nicely. So you've already got 15.6, and then obviously you've got this uncomplicated 15% extra damage. But again, I think it's Marcus that's done a video on it, and obviously I've tested out as well. The LVLC, the lightweight M4s, they're the strongest by far. So yeah, you want to try and get yourself a decent lightweight M4 or LVLC. I've just been lucky. I've just been doing a hell of a lot of farming. Yeah, that's where my insane damage is coming from, and as you can see, my DPS is 368 on this weapon, so yeah, it's pretty healthy. And then pistol, obviously I've just gone for the harmful pistol. So this is a 93R, this is the new one. This has got the burst, so obviously you get each hit has a 15% chance of bleed. With this new burst and the rate of fire, so I didn't actually show you the rate of fire. The rate of fire is 1100, so if someone's running away from me, you know, you just look at the speed of this thing. I'm just bleeding. Honest straight away, I'm just making them bleed, so I can always chase them down, which is really good. Quickly, I'll go into the talents because it's key for this build. The skills that I use, I'll always use overdose. Some people are starting to use booster shot, like a lot of my friends are using booster shot for the extra resistance and mitigation. I'll just show you an example. If you look at my sheet again, I've got 368, 445, and then obviously I hit my booster. Look at my sheet again, I've got 414 and I've got 524. So a lot of people are using booster. I have used it and I've used overdose. I like overdose because I actually like to go into a group of 3 or 4. The booster doesn't actually give me an overheal, so I always like to have that overheal. So then I use through my overheal and then I start taking damage, and obviously I start running then. It's just my playstyle, so you could use booster shot. I use the overdose just to get the overheal. Stuff I've been using flashbangs, I've been using pulse, I've been using flame turrets, you know, whatever's helpful for the team. Because I've got 100,000, it's not really ridiculous. One thing I would highly recommend now, if you're going solo, and you're brave too in 1.5, if you're going solo, check this out. People are not realizing the potential of mobile cover and the booster shot. So chuck my mobile cover down. I've got again 368, and I've got 445. I jump onto the cover. My toughness, is increased to 554, and then obviously you hit your booster, and you start to increase, 680. Now I can actually, with this, you can actually peel away because they're actually still equipped to my player. So you can see there I've got 2 at the bottom. So if you're solo and you're trying to take somebody on, and it's just come on again, you're solo and you're trying to take somebody on, I've got 680,000 toughness, and I can actually start dealing a shitload of damage at like 400 DPS. So I can actually take down, if there's a group of 4, generally I can take down 2, and then I've only got 2 to deal with. And then what I tend to do is I'll be cheeky and I'll hit my heal, because I'll use this as a secondary heal, and I'm constantly healing, so I can take down a 3rd, and I've even often taken down 4th. I'll show you in gameplay at the end, but it's actually achievable with this build. That's how strong this build is, provided you can adjust and you can play that way. But yeah, it's really strong. So I'll quickly just go into my character sheet just to show you. So obviously my firearms 5,000, my health pool's 200,000, electronics 82,000, and then obviously, so there you go, sorry, that's 82,000. It's getting up to 100,000 because of the backpack. My weapon damage, that's my M4, 21,800. My friend's actually got one at 24,000, so it's pretty strong. My crit hit chance is 24. The reason it's only 24 and I do get a lot of crits is I'll just go into my talents. So I'm actually using critical save, so you use a med kit during low health, gives you 40% resistance. I've gone for strike back, so obviously I get down to my low health, and I get 20% extra cooldown, so I'll get my heals back up quicker. On the move, so you kill a hostile while moving to reduce the incoming damage by 30% for 10 seconds. This is huge, especially when I was talking about you taking on 4 players. I've just dropped 2 of them because I've got so much toughness, and then I actually hit one of them. I've got even more resistance. Jump back onto my smart cover. I've got more resistance. You know what I mean? It's just so strong, this set. So strong if you use your talents correctly and you're on your own. And then this one, precision. Now I use precision because of the pulse, because of that base pulse. I've used one is none. I've been using the tactical advance. Tactical advance has been nerfed down to 5 seconds, but it's still really strong. You get that massive amount of damage. But I've just found with this new burst damage style of play, and obviously because PC is very flexible and you can move around very quick, I've tended to go on for the precision for the pulse, and then I can just keep running. So yeah, that's the talents that I'm using. And then the only other thing really, I'll just quickly go through my character sheet, sorry, because I was going through it. So yeah, I've got the crit hit chance is 24%, my crit hit damage is 94, the headshot damage is 86, and I'll just keep going. So my enemy armor damage is 58%, that's so huge, so huge. Skill power, obviously I talked about that, 106. Toughness, yeah, max health. Armor mitigation, 54%. Health regen, 20,000, which is huge. This is because of the alpha bridge. Going to help you if you get around a corner and you start healing up. And the only other things really to know, that's pretty much it. I'll just show you if you're console and you are going for ADS, aim down sights, and you're going for headshots. Obviously, this one, it's not actually showing my true DPS. It is actually higher generally. I don't know what's going on right now. And then you go across and you look at my headshot damage. I've got 111 headshot damage. So actually when I aim down sight, it does a hell of a lot of damage. But I don't know why it's not actually doing a true representation of my DPS for this. It's a bit strange. It often bugs out. Back, there you go, 345 DPS. I don't know what the hell that glitch is. The UI is weird. But yeah, this one's 345. So you can see it's slightly less than my than the crit one I use, which is 368, but it's still a hell of a lot of damage. And if you are aiming down sights, this just destroys. If I find players sat against walls and I've got this on by accident, holy crap, it just melts the head. So yeah, it's really good. What I'll do, if anyone else wants to know anything like the skins and stuff, people have asked me in the past. This is a chocolate chip skin that I'm using on my my M4s and LVLCs. The FAMAS, I think, is the Waves, is it? Water, Scale Water. I think that's a free skin, actually. Again, I've got that on my pistol. Clothing that I'm wearing, I've got the pom-pom beanie, which is blue. Worn-out jeans. I've got the shirt, which is the turtleneck sweater white. Shoes, I'm using the blue sneakers. And jacket is the all-weather Parker beige. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. Please give us a thumbs up and give us a like, because obviously that's starting to help now massively with the channel. likes are actually giving a huge buff to people actually seeing these videos, and I want to get this out to as many people as I can. So yeah, if you left a like, that'd be huge, and obviously get subscribed. I'll be bringing out more builds in 1.5, and I'll be showing you some more ridiculous builds that I found that you're really going to enjoy. But this is the meta, so yeah, I'd recommend going for this. If you're having trouble at the moment, go for the Alpha Bridge. It's going to help you out a hell of a lot, especially if you're a solo player. You're going to be able to survive and do a shitload of damage. So yeah, hope you enjoy this gameplay where I'm melting player after player.
An agent on your team requires aid immediately.
Oh, fuck off, you little fucking bitch of shit. Maybe if you fucking stay with us for once, you know.
Cover. Shield.
Teams down.
Coming in.
Rogue agent.
Pushing us too much. Oh hell, hurry up then. You guys get up, get up. On the shield.
Too many, man.
I'm gonna go through retail.
Get on, you little fuckers. Get on.
Detected.
Oh, nice. You got one of them.
Oh, count, come back. 3.
Get the shield.